Showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Today we're going to be talking about and looking at some of the fantastic artwork in Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the biggest things that drew me into the game as a teenager was the excellent card designs on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards themselves. At a time where I found too many Pokemon to be overly cuddly, Yu-Gi-Oh! Showed me a world that could be colorful and vibrant or dark and crude sometimes, and a lot of the best artworks displayed this. With that said, a lot of times some of those very breathtaking art go to absolute waste on subpar card design, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Cards that looked the part and could have been all-time fan favorites but ended up being nothing more than wasted potential and achieved nothing more than, well, really just a niche following at best. Now, to qualify on this list, you could have never actually been historically meta relevant, nor could you have had a profound impact on any competitive meta throughout the years. Those acts alone would contest the claim of being a bad card. With all that said, welcome to the top 10 terrible Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards with amazing artwork, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Hierarchy. Number 10, NEKROZ of SOPHIA. If you're not aware, SOPHIA is basically a god in the world of the dual terminal, and as powerful as she is with her ability to create and destroy entire planets and worlds, she is freaking hideous. I'm talking a face that not even a mother would love. But that all changes with NEKROZ of SOPHIA. Dance Princess has never looked more elegant or better donning the remnants of SOPHIA as armor. The art is sparkly, colorful, and best of all, she's already on her knees. Giggity. Number 9, MADOLCHE Chevalier. I didn't like cute and cuddly when I was a teenager, but I've pretty much come full circle and I can appreciate things like Chevalier now. The art is not only cute, but it's filled with enough tasty snacks to remind you of your best Halloween hauls, and what I really love most is how the little dude is so stylish. The candy sword, the sick piano key jacket, he's even got a strawberry on the hilt of his sword. That's pretty damn sweet. Number 8, TOON Summon Skull and TOON Mermaid. To be honest, almost all the TOON monsters could have made it onto this spot. We all know that Toons have been a fan favorite archetype since the original Yu-Gi-Oh! DM, and Toons have never really been competitively viable. That's why it is such a relief, and the one solace we have is that the artwork for nearly the entire archetype is superb. Mermaid and Skull are my personal favorites, and not only do they trump the original versions in every conceivable way, but they're just so lively and animated. They look like they could jump right off the card. Number 7, Ancient Dragon. There's no need to overly complicate this one. Everything on this card looks absolutely fantastic. The dark but beautiful cloudy sky, the bright moon gazing in the background, and of course the majestic dragon gliding through the air. Interesting enough, this artwork was actually designed by a very talented Chilean artist by the name of Gonzalo Arraez, or Gonzo Man as most people know him. He's also done some work on designing some of the Noble Knight monsters as well. Number 6, Dark Crusader and the entire Noble Knight archetype. Simply put, Dark Crusader is a freaking badass, and if he isn't, he sure as hell looks like one. The skull face, the mammoth sword, and the fact that he seems to have no qualms about being alone in a cemetery at night. Seriously, who even does that, and who would even mess with this guy? The Noble Knights are pretty much the exact opposite side of the spectrum. Warriors who exude shining light and glory. This is displayed best on a card like Noble Knight Gawayn. The Noble Knights have always had respectable artwork, it's just the deck has never achieved anything more than lackluster results. Number 5, Popcorn. Nice things are best when unexpected. Popcorn as a dual monster itself is pretty absurd. Just think of a situation where your opponent is overwhelmed and cowering in fear because of a giant ear of corn, but that same ridiculous concept is what I believe gives Popcorn his charm. He's not just any ear of corn, but one that is a snappy dresser with his purple count cape and a mustache that would make the Oakland Athletics Rolly Fingers blush. This guy, if you have no idea who that is. Also, his name is a pun, so there's that too. Number 4, Swamp Mirror. Swamp Mirror is dark and horrifying, simply put. It looks like something straight out of one of those old-time black and white horror movies. This thing is clearly a take on Swamp Thing from said horror movies, or maybe it could even be the DC superhero of the same name who's best known as a defender of the forest and all things nature. Either way, it's well executed as a piece of art, and it's incredibly faithful to the source material, whichever one of those two it is. Number 3, Inspiration. This one is such a shame. The artwork on Inspiration is awe-inspiring. It depicts a glorious battle where one brave soldier attempts to rally the troops with a triumphant war cry. Sounds great, right? The problem is the card is basically toilet paper. In essence, it's just a better version of Reinforcements, which in itself is a 15-year-old card that sucked when it was released too. Number 2, FRIGHTFUR Sanctuary. When I was about 11 years old, I went to the world-renowned Walt Disney World, and this was during the 25th anniversary year at that, so I can speak on this. FRIGHTFUR Sanctuary put Cinderella's castle to shame, looking like something straight out of a well-animated Saturday morning cartoon show or one of the Paper Mario games. Sanctuary looks awesome, and despite all the clear signs of danger, I'd probably still go in there, even if it led to my demise, because, I mean, come on, that looks way too much fun. It's just such a bummer that the one Fluffle Field spell is arguably the archetype's worst spell. Honorable mentions include Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight, Chaos Rider GUSTAPH, and Prophecy Destroyer. Finally, to our number 1, Chaos Goddess. I might be a little biased here because I've always found her art to be pretty breathtaking, but Goddess is the single biggest waste of great card art I've ever seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! She is absolutely magnificent in every way. The brilliant clash of black and white over the entirety of the card, the classy dress that's heightened by the vibrant jewelry and accents, the dark crown, and the look on her face that just oozes with confidence. Then of course there's the two forces of light and dark hovering behind their queen, giving this card that extra little bit of flair and ambiance that it needs. She was never a viable synchro because she was too damn hard to summon, so she'll just unfortunately have to settle for the top spot on this list, which I think is still a pretty good prize, but maybe you guys will be the judge of that. So what did you guys end up thinking of the list? And before you answer, I would just like to know this is the only top 10 that I've ever done where I was already planning on making a second one before I even put the first one out, and that's simply because there are over 9,000 Yu-Gi-Oh cards to date, and I obviously haven't seen them all, so I'm pretty sure that there could be hundreds of other great examples that I haven't even thought of or that I'm just not aware of. You guys leave those in the comment section below, and eventually part 2 to this video will ultimately come out. Thank you guys for watching as always, and subscribe if you have not already. Subscribing makes life happy. This video has been brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audible.com/MegaCapitalG. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your mobile device. I'm listening to the amazing I Can't Make This Up by Kevin Hart. Link in the description.